Welcome back to our program. If you live down my part of the country in Louisiana, particularly in my hometown of Baton Rouge, we're in mourning down here because of the terrible loss that LSU took in the national championship football game this past Monday evening. I'm sure a lot of you saw it, and LSU just did not show up. Alabama played an inspirational game. They're certainly the number one team in the country, and we give them our congratulations. And I'm not a football show, we're not a sports show, but let me give you a few thoughts about that game, how it affects how we run this state, how we run our country, and how we deal with our position in the world. I stayed at the Hilton Hotel. We broadcast last week live, by the way, from the Hilton Hotel, which was the home base for LSU. I was on the floor right in the middle of all the LSU players. They walked up and down the hall in front of my room for 3 nights and saw their preparation very well. They were relaxed, not a lot of motivation. They just seemed relaxed, had their earphones on. Their family and friends were there. The night before the game, they just kind of had a last meal and tuned out in their rooms, apparently. Nick Saban, the Alabama coach, took a different approach. He took the whole team out to a movie theater, to a private showing of a new movie out called Red Tails. Now, if you've not heard about it, it's based on the lives of the Tuskegee, Alabama Airmen. Back in 1940, they were an all-black unit of fighters that fought in World War II. And in the movie, very inspirational movie, and if you haven't seen it, I've not seen it, but I'm very anxious to see it. But in the movie, the captain, as they're going to take on their last mission, makes a very inspirational statement where he talks about how they're going to fight to the last plane, the last bullet, the last man to accomplish their mission. And as I'm told, Coach Saban got up to his players and used that example and talked about the last mission and told them, look, you heard what the captain said of this movie. We're in the same boat. We got beat by LSU earlier. We're down to the national championship. This is our mission. This is our destiny. And we're going to fight down to the last man, the last plane, the last bullet. Apparently, it was a very inspirational speech. He talked about it after the game. Obviously, it worked, because there was 2 different teams on the field, one very motivated, another one that would just kind of seem like they're going through the motions. So I congratulate Coach Saban for his inspirational speech. His team is definitely the number one team in the country, but it goes beyond that. I think the message that you find from that movie Red Tails is a message that we can use not just in our private lives, it's how government ought to operate, quite frankly. The bickering going on between Republicans and Dem and Don'ts up in Washington, no cooperation at all. There's a mission for our country to accomplish. We're in a real pickle when it comes to the economy. We've got a very unstable situation around the world that affects our ability to develop jobs and look for our own safety. We have a mission, and that mission is to stay focused, to cooperate, and to put that pressure on down to the last bullet, the last man, the last plane, just as the movie Red Tails and just as Coach Saban enunciated so well in his victory. So, again, we're not a sports show, but I think you can take that message into our lives, into so much of what we do. You got to have a focus. You got to have a mission. If you're a parent, if you're a teacher, if you are dealing in government, in your business, and the politicians that set our tone as to how this country operates, both nationwide and worldwide, you got to focus on that mission and get your goal accomplished. And it may have taken a lesson from Coach Saban and this movie Red Tails to put that in perspective. I enjoyed it. I want to see it again, and I hope you will too. And I again congratulate Alabama. They're a class act. Coach Saban, your motivation made a huge difference in the victory. We applaud you for it. And by the way, the odds are already out for next year. My home team, LSU, is already picked by the Las Vegas odd makers to be number 1. I think number 1's Alabama, rather LSU, number 2, Southern Cal, coming back football-wise, number 3, Alabama. So we're going to have a barn burner next year, but right now, all the accolades go to the University of Alabama. And Coach Saban, thanks for that message. It applies to all of us in so many things we do. I'll be right back after this message.